After the session concluded, Alex found himself surrounded by a diverse group of alien students, all eager to continue the discussion. Questions flowed freely, without the previous undercurrent of condescension. "Ah, the human arrives," Vazek announced, his previously dismissive tone now laced with something like grudging respect. "We were just comparing evolutionary pressure points across featured species." The holographic display showed a matrix of creatures from dozens of worlds: silicon-based predators from methane seas, atmospheric hunters from gas giants, crystalline entities that devoured energy itself. Among them, looking almost mundane by comparison, was the hippopotamus. "Your presentation has prompted me to revisit some of my research," Vazek continued, gesturing Alex forward. "Specifically on evolutionary pressure as a predictor of species development." The display shifted to show a complex graph, with worlds plotted along axes of biodiversity and environmental hazards. "Traditionally, we've classified evolutionary success by dominance. The species that eliminates competition rises to the top. But your hippopotamus suggests an alternative model." Vazek highlighted Earth on the display. "On your world, multiple dangerous species have existed alongside each other for millions of years without any achieving total dominance." "Ecological balance," Alex suggested. "Perhaps," Vazek conceded. "Or perhaps something more significant: the development of strategies beyond simple dominance." The Thraxian manipulated the display again, bringing up images of various Earth animals alongside their alien counterparts. "Many worlds develop apex predators with overwhelming physical advantages. Few develop species that survive through adaptation rather than domination." Alex noticed other students entering the hall, gathering to listen to Vazek's analysis. There was no mockery now, only focused attention. "The hippopotamus is dangerous not because it has evolved to hunt efficiently, but because it has evolved to defend itself effectively," Vazek continued. "This defensive capability, combined with unpredictability, makes it more lethal than many predators." The professor turned to face Alex directly. "Which brings me to humanity. Your species lacks claws, venom, significant muscle density, or protective hide. By conventional metrics, you should have been easy prey on a world filled with dangers." Alex waited, sensing Vazek was building to a conclusion. "Yet you thrived. Not by eliminating threats, but by understanding them. Not by dominating your environment, but by adapting to it." Vazek's vertical pupils dilated slightly. "This suggests that our traditional metrics for evaluating species development may be incomplete." The admission clearly cost the proud Thraxian something, but he continued nonetheless. "Your presentation on the hippopotamus wasn't just about a dangerous herbivore. It was about the evolutionary pressures that shaped humanity's approach to survival." Vazek's upper arms crossed while his lower ones gestured to the display. "A world where even the plant eaters might kill you requires a different kind of intelligence, a different approach to problem solving." A holographic display shifted one final time, showing Earth's position in the galaxy, a tiny, unremarkable dot in the spiral arm of an average galaxy. "We have historically evaluated species based on their technological advancement, their biological capabilities, or their resource utilization," Vazek said, addressing the entire hall now. "Perhaps we should also consider their adaptability, their capacity to coexist with dangers rather than simply overcome them." He turned back to Alex, all four arms now at his sides in what Alex recognized as a formal posture of academic acknowledgement. "You have given us much to consider, human Chen. Your choice of the hippopotamus was unexpectedly illuminating. That is what humanity brings to the galactic community. Not overwhelming physical strength or biological advantages, but the experience of evolving on a world where even the vegetarians might decide to kill you. It taught us humility, respect, and creativity, qualities that helped us reach the stars despite our limitations." As Alex concluded his presentation, the silence held for several heartbeats. Then, starting from the upper tiers of the amphitheater, a sound began. The diverse equivalent of applause from dozens of different species. Crystalline beings vibrated, creating harmonics that filled the air. Gaseous entities pulsed with colored light. Insectoid species clicked their appendages together rapidly. Professor Zilnax's particle cloud expanded and contracted rapidly, the equivalent of enthusiastic approval. An exceptional presentation, Alex Chen. You have given us much to consider about both your species and your planet's evolutionary pressures. Vazek remained seated, his forearms no longer crossed dismissively but resting on his knees, his vertical slit eyes fixed on Alex with what might have been newfound respect. "It seems," the Thraxian professor finally said, his gravelly voice carrying across the now quieting amphitheater, "that we may have underestimated both your planet and its inhabitants." The aftermath. In the days following Alex's presentation, the atmosphere at the Galactic Xenobiology Academy changed subtly but unmistakably. The open mockery had ceased, replaced by curious glances and tentative questions. Alien students who had previously avoided Alex now approached him in the communal study areas, in the nutrient dispensary, and between lectures. "Is it true that humans intentionally cultivate plants that burn the mouth?" asked a Cephian, their translucent tentacles writhing with curiosity. "You mean chili peppers?" "Yes, we not only cultivate them but compete to create increasingly painful varieties," Alex explained, amused by the Cephian's horror. "And you consume them, voluntarily." "We put them in our food for pleasure." The Cephian's translucent body flushed a deep purple, their species equivalent of a stunned shudder. These interactions became commonplace. Each revelation about Earth and human behavior seemed to further revise the aliens' assessment of humanity. Alex found himself an unexpected ambassador for his species, clarifying misconceptions and explaining seemingly illogical human behaviors. Humans willingly jump from high places with only fabric to slow their descent. Some climb mountains without safety equipment. You deliberately expose yourselves to dangerous solar radiation to change skin pigmentation. Alex confirmed each bewildering human habit, watching as his new classmates struggled to reconcile these voluntary risks with their image of a primitive species. One afternoon, Alex was working in the xenobiology lab when Professor Zilnax's particle cloud drifted in, coalescing into a more concentrated form near his workstation. "Your presentation has prompted significant discussion among the faculty." The professor's voice emanated from the cloud. "It has been proposed that we reevaluate the classification of Earth as a moderate rather than high-hazard evolutionary cradle." Alex looked up from his specimen analysis. "I'm not sure I understand the significance, Professor." The particle cloud pulsed. "Species are partially evaluated based on their homeworld's evolutionary pressures. Higher hazard worlds tend to produce species with greater adaptability and problem-solving capabilities. This reclassification would explain much about humanity's rapid technological advancement despite your physical limitations." "I'm honored." Alex wasn't entirely sure how to respond. "It is neither honor nor dishonor. It is data correction," Zilnax responded matter-of-factly. "However, I am curious about one thing. Of all Earth's dangerous fauna, why select the hippopotamus for your presentation? Your planet hosts numerous apex predators." Alex considered the question carefully. "Precisely because it's not an obvious predator. Lions, sharks, bears, everyone expects them to be dangerous. But the hippopotamus teaches a different lesson about danger and appearances. It's the unexpected threats that often prove most lethal." A most illuminating perspective. Zilnax's particles swirled thoughtfully. Perhaps this explains humanity's caution regarding first contact protocols. 2 weeks after his presentation, Alex received a notification on his academy communicator. The Apex Predator Symposium had concluded, and the students were gathering for a final analysis session. As he entered the lecture hall, he noticed Vazek standing at the center platform, manipulating holographic displays. With a gesture, the hologram changed to show the hippo's skeletal structure, highlighting its massive jaw and teeth. The hippopotamus can open its mouth to almost 180 degrees and exert a bite force of approximately 1,800 psi, stronger than a lion or tiger. Their canine teeth can grow up to half a meter long and are constantly sharpening against each other. Alex noticed a few of the previously dismissive postures straightening with interest. But physical attributes alone don't make an animal dangerous. It's behavior that matters. He tapped his control, and a hologram shifted to display actual footage from Earth. The first clip showed a seemingly peaceful hippo in a river. Then, without warning, it erupted from the water like a living torpedo, charging at terrifying speed toward a boat. The vessel barely escaped. The second clip showed a hippo attacking and destroying a small vehicle that had ventured too close to its territory. Hippopotamuses kill approximately 500 humans per year in Africa, more than lions, elephants, leopards, and buffalo combined. Alex let that sink in before continuing. They are herbivores. They don't kill for food. They kill because you're in their space, because they feel threatened, or sometimes for no discernible reason at all. The next sequence showed a hippo bursting from a river to attack a crocodile, one of Earth's apex predators. The massive jaws clamped around the reptile, shaking it violently as the crocodile thrashed helplessly. Even apex predators give them a wide berth, Alex explained. Their unpredictability makes them more dangerous than animals that hunt humans for food. A predator is at least predictable. It attacks when hungry. A hippopotamus might tolerate your presence one day and charge without warning the next. A low murmur spread through the audience. Alex could see Vasic leaning forward, his earlier smirk replaced by focused attention. Their speed is deceptive. Alex continued as the hologram displayed a hippo running alongside a speed indicator. Despite weighing up to 4 metric tons, they can reach speeds of 30 kilometers per hour on land. They can't swim, but they can push off the river bottom and move through water at similar speeds. The next sequence showed thermal imaging of a hippo, its massive body a bright heat signature against the cooler water. Their bodies are so dense with muscle and fat that they can walk underwater instead of swimming. The water pressure that would crush many species means nothing to them. They even give birth underwater. Alex tapped again, and the hologram shifted to show hippos engaging in territorial displays, splashing water, showing massive teeth, producing roaring vocalizations that echoed through the amphitheater speakers. They communicate through infrasound, frequencies too low for humans to hear. They coordinate defense of their territories without predators even knowing they're communicating. Then came the most dramatic footage. A pod of hippos surrounding and attacking a lion that had ventured too close to their young. The big cat, despite its own fearsome reputation, fled in terror. Unlike many dangerous animals that have declined due to human expansion, hippopotamus populations remain robust in many areas. We haven't outcompeted them or driven them to extinction through our technology. Alex paused. Instead, we've learned to coexist with them, to respect their territories, to understand their behaviors. The final sequence showed various human interactions with hippos, researchers observing from a safe distance, tour boats giving hippo pods a wide berth, local communities developing warning systems about hippo movements. This is perhaps the most important point, Alex said, his voice taking on a deeper resonance. On Earth, even our plant eaters are lethal. Our herbivores have tempers. Our environment doesn't forgive mistakes. And yet, humans have thrived. He deactivated the hologram, leaving just himself standing on the platform. We didn't evolve to be the strongest species on our planet. We didn't have the biggest teeth or the thickest hide. What we developed instead was respect for the dangers around us, adaptability in the face of threats, and intelligence to find ways to coexist with creatures that could, and regularly did, kill us. The amphitheater was completely silent now. The earlier dismissive atmosphere had vanished entirely. The hippopotamus isn't dangerous because it's the biggest or the most aggressive animal on Earth. It's dangerous because it reminds us that appearances can be deceiving, that threats aren't always obvious, and that survival doesn't always go to the strongest, but to the most adaptable. Alex met Vasic's gaze directly. Alex thought about it. Lions, sharks, bears, all impressive by Earth standards, but hardly noteworthy here. Then, an image flashed in his mind, a memory from his field research in Tanzania. The setting sun over the Mura River, the massive form rising from the water, the power, the unexpected speed, the sheer territorial rage. Hippopotamus amphibious, Alex said clearly. The common hippopotamus. There was a moment of silence, then a wave of what he could only interpret as alien laughter. The fat water horse. Vasek's universal translator struggled with the concept. The herbivore that looks like it can barely move. Alex merely smiled. You'll see next week, Professor. The days leading up to his presentation flew by in a blur of classes, research, and adaptation to the strange rhythms of the academy. Alex spent hours in the holographic library, compiling footage and statistics that even he found sobering. When the day of the presentation arrived, he was ready. As he stepped onto the central platform of the lecture hall, the murmurs of amusement were unmistakable. The holographic display activated, showing an image of a hippopotamus partially submerged in water, looking peaceful and almost comical with just its eyes, ears, and nostrils visible above the surface. The common hippopotamus, Alex began, is responsible for more human deaths in Africa than any other large animal. Approximately 500 people per year, more than lions, elephants, and crocodiles combined. A few murmurs, but mostly indulgent silence. They can weigh up to 4,000 kilograms and run at speeds of 30 kilometers per hour despite their bulk. Their jaws can open to 180 degrees, and their canine teeth can grow up to 50 centimeters long. Alex tapped his control pad, and the hologram changed to show a hippo charging through water, creating a massive wake. Then another clip. A hippo bursting from a river, jaws agape, to crush a small boat into splinters. They are aggressive, territorial, and unpredictable. They appear slow and docile, but can switch to extreme violence in seconds. Another tap, and the hologram showed a hippo attacking a crocodile, clamping massive jaws around the reptile and shaking it like a rag doll. Their skin secretes a natural sunscreen that appears red, leading to myths that they sweat blood. Their hide is thick enough to resist small-caliber bullets. The amusement in the room was fading now, replaced by something else. Interest, perhaps, or the beginning of respect. But what makes the hippopotamus truly dangerous isn't just its physical capabilities, Alex continued. It's their unpredictability. Most predators kill for food. Hippos kill because you're in their territory, because you startle them, because it's Tuesday. Alex paused, noting the shifting postures of his alien classmates. Even Vasek had uncrossed his arms and was leaning forward slightly. Humans evolved alongside these creatures, Alex said, his voice taking on a new edge. We learned to recognize the signs, to navigate their territories, to coexist, not by overpowering them, but by understanding them. The final image showed an aerial view of a small boat navigating carefully past a pod of hippos, giving them a wide berth. On Earth, even our herbivores will kill you without a second thought, Alex concluded. And yet we thrived. Perhaps that tells you something about us. As he stepped down from the platform, the lecture hall was silent. Not the silence of boredom or dismissal, but the heavy silence of recalculation. The presentation. The day of Alex's formal presentation arrived with an unexpected development. The audience had tripled in size. Word had spread through the xenobiology department that the human was going to present on something called a hippopotamus, and curiosity had overcome skepticism. Professor Zilnax's particle cloud pulsed with what might have been excitement. Due to unprecedented interest, we have relocated to Grand Amphitheater 1. Alex Chen, you may begin whenever ready. Alex stepped onto the circular platform at the center of the vast chamber. Hundreds of alien eyes, optical sensors, electromagnetic receptors, and sensory apparatuses beyond human comprehension focused on him. In the front row sat Vasek, the Thraxian professor, his posture suggesting he was prepared for disappointment. "Computer, activate presentation sequence, Hippopotamus Alpha," Alex commanded. The lights dimmed, and the holographic system came alive. Above Alex, a life-sized hippopotamus materialized, its skin textured and realistic, submerged in simulated water with just its eyes and nostrils showing. The audience shifted, some making sounds that might have been chuckles or their species equivalent. "This is Hippopotamus amphibius," Alex began, his voice steady despite his racing heart. "To understand why this creature is Earth's most dangerous large animal, we need to look beyond appearances." The exchange program. Alex Chen stood at the entrance of the Galactic Xenobiology Academy, a sleek obsidian structure that stretched impossibly high into the azure skies of Nexus Prime. The diplomatic exchange program had seemed like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity 6 months ago. Now, with his heart hammering against his ribs and the weight of representing all of humanity on his shoulders, Alex wondered if he'd made a terrible mistake. "Identification and species classification," demanded the security drone, its voice a melodic hum that belied its deadly capabilities. "Alex Chen, human, Earth." He held up his credentials, trying to ignore the stares from the passing alien students. The drone's optical sensors whirred. "Human. Classification. Developing species. Technological advancement rating. D-. Physical capabilities. Negligible. Special accommodations. Atmospheric support not required. Proceed." Alex winced at the classification. Developing species. D-. He'd been warned about this. Humanity was still new to the galactic community, having achieved faster-than-light travel only 15 years ago. To most of these species, humans were barely more than clever primates who had stumbled onto the cosmic stage. The grand atrium bustled with activity as students from across the galaxy mingled, their forms varying from the nearly humanoid to the utterly incomprehensible. Crystalline beings floated past, leaving trails of light. Amorphous entities rippled across the floor like sentient puddles. A cluster of insectoid creatures clicked their mandibles in what might have been laughter. "You're in the wrong section," came a voice like gravel sliding down a metal chute. "The maintenance staff facility is in the lower levels." Alex turned to face a Thraxian, nearly 7 feet tall with iridescent scales and 4 arms folded across a broad chest. The emblem on its uniform indicated senior academic status. "I'm not maintenance," Alex replied evenly. "I'm a student. Exchange program. Xenobiology specialty." The Thraxian's yellow eyes blinked in vertical slits. "A human. Studying xenobiology." Its mouth split into what might have been a smile, revealing rows of needle-like teeth. "How quaint. Do you even have a classification system beyond cute and scary?" Laughter rippled from the small group gathered behind the Thraxian. Alex recognized representatives from at least 5 different advanced species. "Vasic, don't intimidate the primitive," said a glowing jellyfish-like creature floating nearby. "Humans are a protected species under the Galactic Development Protocol." The Thraxian, Vasic, flicked a dismissive hand. "Protected because they'd go extinct otherwise. Their world is so hostile even their own wildlife routinely kills them." Alex felt heat rising in his face, but kept his expression neutral. This wasn't the first time he faced prejudice since humanity joined the galactic community, and it wouldn't be the last. "Our orientation is in Lecture Hall 7, he said, deliberately changing the subject. "I should get going." "We're headed there too," Vasic said, falling into step beside Alex. "I'm your evolutionary adaptations professor, actually. This should be educational for us all." The lecture hall was a vast amphitheater filled with students from across the galaxy. Professor Zilmax, a sentient cloud of particles contained within a hovering transparent sphere, floated at the center stage. "Welcome to Advanced Xenobiology." The professor's voice emanated from everywhere and nowhere at once. "This year, we are privileged to host our first human exchange student." All eyes turned to Alex, some curious, some dismissive, some unrateable. As is tradition, our first assignment will be the Apex Predator Symposium. Each student will present on the most dangerous non-sentient species from their home world. These presentations will begin next week, with our exchange student going first. Alex's stomach clenched. Of course he'd be first. Put the primitive on display. Human. Vasek called out from his position at the front row. What will you present? One of your large cats. A shark, perhaps. Something we should actually be concerned about. The challenge was clear. In a room full of species that had evolved on worlds with creatures that could level cities, what could Earth possibly offer?